I don't know why this looks like that. Okay. Shalom. Shalom. Shalom, everybody. What's this side's looking all puffy? Like, why is that puffy? Okay. Whatever. Don't know why. Okay. Today this addendum. Yesterday's video was also an addendum. Addendum, it just means you adding on to something that you've already taught. And this is addendum number 2. Okay, yesterday was the evidence of the one woman bride in the Gospels, and I shared with Matthew 25, verse 1 in the Aramaic Bible. You probably call that the Beshita. Okay, it's older than the other ones that we have. But let's go ahead and just pray. Abba Yah, we just thank you for this beautiful, wonderful day you've given us. We thank you that spring is soon to come. We thank you for this first day of the week, Yom Rishon. And we just pray, Heavenly Father, that as I speak forth this word, that you would speak through me and you would touch the hearts and minds of your people, and that they would go forth and do their duty before you, confirm to you, ask of you, and study to show themselves approved. Bless the listeners who hear this message in full, and be with them and give them a double portion of your presence this day. All these things that I pray in Yehoshua HaMashiach HaNazari, in his name. Amen. All right. So we're going to look at Isaiah chapter 9, verse 1 and 2. And I'm going to read from the Hebrew, the Ibri. I did the study this week because I think when I read from Matthew chapter 4, verse 12 through 17, and it quoted the prophecy from Isaiah. It quoted the prophecy from Isaiah. I think it was a little bit confusing because the way the King James words it. So what I did, I took the liberty to write it all in Ibri. And then from there, I went through each Hebrew letter, okay, for what it could mean from the Strong's Concordance, and put the Strong's Concordance numbers in there. And came up with what it's actually saying, okay? So we can clarify that confusion. I probably should go ahead and read it in the Gospels, what it says. So you can see what I was reading from last week. I think it was last week. It could have been 2 weeks ago. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go over to Bible Hub. All right, so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to pull up Matthew chapter 4 and see verse, I think it's verse 14. Matthew chapter 4, 14. Cain. Okay, that means yes in Hebrew, okay? So if I use some words, sometimes you hear me say Cain, and I'm not paying attention. I'm just saying yes in Hebrew. The word for yes in Hebrew is Cain. I know we're not talking about Cain in the Bible. We're not talking about Cain and Abel. Actually, his name was Quayan. Quayan, okay? Not Cain. All right. So, okay, I'm going to pull this up. Let's go to King James. Okay, Matthew chapter 14, chapter 4, verse 15. And in your KJV, it reads, "The land of Zabulon, land of Naphtaliim, by the way of the sea beyond Jordan, Galilee of the Gentiles." Okay. Keep going. "The people that sat in darkness saw great light. To them which sat in the region and shadow of death, light is sprung up." Now, if you go to Isaiah chapter 9, verse 1, this is what it's quoting from. Isaiah chapter 9, verse 1. We're going to see it worded as such, I think in the King James. And I'm going to go to what it actually says in the Hebrew, Ibri. Okay. The ESV The English Standard Version reads, "But there will be no gloom for her who was in anguish. In the former time he brought into contempt the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, but in the latter time he has made glorious the way of the sea, the land beyond the Jordan, Galilee of the nations." The King James reads this. Okay, this is where it can get confusing. So if you have your King James Bible, this is where in the King James Bible, it says this. "Nevertheless, the dimness shall not be such as was in her vexation. When at the first he lightly afflicted the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterwards did more grievously afflict her by the way of the sea beyond Jordan in the Galilee of the nations." In Galilee of the nations. Now, when you see that in your KJV and in your New King James Version, it gives it seems like the land is being doubly afflicted, and that is not what it's saying in the Hebrew. Okay, it's not saying that in the Hebrew. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and read it in the Hebrew, and then I'm gonna write down what it means in the Hebrew. Okay, starting at verse 1, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 1, it reads, "Kilo muaf la asher muzak la ka'ait ha ra shan hein kwal arza um te is zebulan we arza Naphtali we Charon hik bid derek hayam eber ha yarden gelil ha goyim. Okay, that's verse 1. And verse 2, ha'am hachol him bachoshek ra'u or gadol yosh Bay, Yosh Bay, Be Ba'aretz, Zal, Ma. I'm trying to see if that was it. Or Mawet. No, that's the W. Okay, Zal Mawet, or Naga Ale Hem. Okay, so breaking that down, one of the key words that really changed the meaning here was the this one right here. I'm not sure you can see it. Let me see if I can see it from here. Hik bead. Oh, see this? Yes, this one right here. This one right here. Okay. Hik bead. Okay. Or you can say hik bead. Okay. That comes from the word of kabad, which can have two different meanings. It can mean heavy burden, okay, like affliction, or it could mean to be made glorious. So if you know the word of glory, kabod, it means a heavy weight, but it's glorious, okay? So for some reason, the King James Version, they decided to go to the negative connotation of kabad with hikbid versus the positive connotation for it, which means to be made glorious, a heavy glory, or to be greatly honored. And that's where it confuses it. But if you look at the Aramaic Bible, and like I read from the ESV, they clarify it much better. And so with that, when I went through all the words in the Hebrew, looking at each word individually from the Strongs, it comes more so like this. Although, no matter the gloom, to whom distress is upon her at the former time that he humbled, the land of Zebulun and land of Naphtali, he made glorious towards the westward across the Jordan River, about the circuit, or which is Galilee, okay, the circuit of the nations. All right, that's verse Isaiah chapter 9, verse 1. So that's the way it reads in the actual Hebrew when I broke down each of these words. Okay. Verse 2, it reads pretty much the same like the KJV, the ESV, and other Bible versions. The people walking in darkness have seen great light. Those who dwelt in the land of the shadow of death, or deep darkness, light has shined upon them. All right. You can also find in the Hebrew Gospels, HebrewGospel.com, it reads pretty much the same way, a little bit, but it's a little bit different, just slightly. The land of Zebulun and Naphtali is again restored, the way of the sea of the Jordan Valley of Galilee, the people who abide in the way of thick darkness saw a great light, and a shining lamp appeared unto those who abide in the shadow of death. So, as you can see here, from the Hebrew that I read here, and as I mentioned, I went through each word. All right. Okay, a lot of stuff takes time, it could spend an hour, it might be even an hour and a half. Okay, I went through all the words. All right. Okay, so this is not something that I just skip and a hop and a jump. All right. Okay, because what I'm here for is to teach what it actually says in the Hebrew, and to break it down so we can no longer walk in confusion, right? We can see things more clearly. But there it is. Okay, from Isaiah chapter 9, verse 1, what it reads in the Hebrew and in the Hebrew. And you can also see this, as I mentioned, in the Hebrew Gospels. That's the way it reads in the Hebrew Gospels. All right. So I hope that was, this is just an addendum, an addition to what I mentioned in that video about will the tribe of the bride, please stand up. It's just another addendum like the video that I had before. But obviously, sometimes I know I'll probably lose subscribers, but this is not about subscriptions. This is about getting the word out. And for those who are hungry, I hope that was a good feeding for you for today. So anyway, if you have any questions, feel free to comment, and I'll help you as best as Yah empowers me and, obviously teaches me, and you go forth and you learn and you ask of him for verification and you go study it yourself. If anybody is interested in learning Hebrew, the class I've been taking was Jediah's class at his, HebrewIsraeliteScriptures.com, but I don't think they're going to have a one-on-one class until this fall. We just finished our last class yesterday. And otherwise, as I mentioned beforehand, you can probably find other people or other resources to help you learn Hebrew independently and even online. So anyway, just to encourage you all to take that effort. And with that, I say shalom, shalom, and shalom. Have a blessed week.